April 4th, 2022. We're coming back in again to start our diaphragm pump up. Pretty sure the barrel pump's working okay. We can kind of tell that because our tank is, 4/5 full. I think it was maybe half yesterday afternoon when we checked it, so the barrel pump is working okay. Must have done pretty good all night. So we'll go over here and see if we can get our diaphragm pump started. Got to pump this out about a half mile. We've got 1-inch hose and then a chokes down to 3/4, but the diaphragm pump pumps about 7 gallons a minute and it seems to work out okay. So we'll go over here and see if we get that started. I'll hook this up to our supply tank. That nut driver there is probably the most handy tool I carry in my back pocket all the time. Usually at least probably 10-12 times a day. So we're going to hook that one up and then we'll get over here and hook up to our Udar pump that's powered by a Honda engine. It's worked out pretty well over the years and I've really got no complaints about it. Works really well. Also got a generator back here. Give us some electric, and the reason we need that is for our air compressor here, because what we do after we're done pumping that half mile of pipe, we'll end up putting our air to this pump line here, and that'll force the rest of the sap out, which is probably well over 50 gallons. We want to keep it in that line. For that reason, it'll heat up and also keep the line from really getting a lot of ice and stuff in case we got to pump when it's pretty cold weather. So we tend to want to blow that line out with the air. All right, we'll see if we can get her pumping. Click her on here and toss our choke on. It's usually starting pretty well for me. Of course, saying that, you know what happens next. Yeah, I can feel her pumping in here, so I think we're good to go. Now here's part of our tubing setup we've got back here. We're not running any vacuum on this. No power back here, and also there's a pretty fair expense in getting a vacuum going. I'm sure it's probably worth it, but with all that, with technology and those kind of things, that comes with a price. And our sap does run a little sweeter because we don't run the vacuum on it. And then we've also got to transport this sap quite a ways, so more of it isn't always a good thing. More of it that doesn't test as high for sugar content. So anyway, we're not running vacuum back here. We've got our main lines and our tank set up. It seems to be working pretty well this year. It's been a muddy, cold spring. In fact, it's been cold all year. Used more wood this year than I think I've ever used on the wood house stove. Snow last night. Didn't get down to freezing though. I suppose it got down to 35 degrees. But it's just kind of overcast here and just kind of nasty weather. But the trees aren't running today. They've ran for 3 days in a row. Coming out of the woods here where we have our tubing, and then we'll run to the spot where we're running buckets and bags. got probably 700 trees on, or taps I should say, on tubing here, and I suppose probably another 800 to 1,000 that are on buckets and bags. I kind of like buckets. I mean, done that all my life pretty much, except for the last 15, 20 years we've been on ran some tubing, but starting back in the 50s when I was helping my dad and family, my grandmother pick up buckets, did a lot of that. Of course, you don't want 3,000 or 4,000 buckets, at least one guy don't, not when you're 75, maybe any age for that matter. Yeah, so here's our section of the woods where we've got buckets out. And we picked these up, I think yesterday. They probably haven't got much in them right now. They have a lot of ice in them. And we tried to let that go as far as we could, let that sun and running of the warm sap in there thaw out some of that ice. I picked up half a tank with the Oliver yesterday late. Back to where that sap is getting pumped to it, going in that 3/4 inch line right over there. Should be anyway, hopefully. Kind of coming out of the woods here now. Well, making syrup is not an easy thing to do. I know I got a cousin that says if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it. Here's where we're coming out of the woods now, and got to go across about a 1/4 mile of field to get to where that sap should be coming out of our line that we're pumping on. Like I say, I've seen more mud this year than I've ever seen. Normally we don't get a lot of this trail here, but I did some logging early last winter, and I suppose it froze down some, so probably explains why we got a lot of extra mud. The pipeline that we're pumping in runs over there on that tree line. My firewood that hopefully will be enough to make it through next winter. Some of the tops and things of the logging operations I did. The original barn that the settlers built on here, and it was kind of neat because it had hand-hewed timbers in it, and I just couldn't get around the salvage and those things. They were nice because they were all hewed out of pretty much white oak that was growing in this area. Part of the silo that used to be there, and there's our pump line that's going to pump this out, coming through the tank over here. This is sap that we pumped, I think, a day or so ago. Takes that sap a while to get out here. I say it's got close to a half mile to go. Sometimes I can hear it gurgling in this pipe. I don't hear it right now. It always makes me nervous. You know, wondering whether or not it's blown apart someplace and that's all going on the ground. What I'll do here is take this apart and put this hose in some, well, there we go. Well, that's a good sign. I was going to put that hose in some water or something and see if it was blowing air out, but we don't need to. Got the pump. Good news, okay. That pump is working. Then we'll do here is transfer this sap into our 4-wheel trailer. Got a couple tanks on there, and then we'll haul that over to the sugar bush. Things work out right. I don't know if our tracker here is up to the job or not, but we'll be finding out.